your highly anticipated second album, Growing Up, and the new single of the same name was just released on March 10th. So to kick off our chat here, I would love it if you could play a little bit of that new song for us.
Yeah, for sure. I was 17, couldn't wait to leave. Next thing I knew, I was 23. Wish I could fly home, but I had a job to keep and couldn't afford to see. 10 years flies by fast. It was too late by the time I look back. So much changed since the last time I saw you, Mom and Dad. You trusted me to trust my God. I don't know if I trust me as much. It's hard to come to terms with losing touch. But I made a choice when I was young, just trying to become someone. I'm not ready for this kind of growing up, this kind of growing up. I still feel 15, but when I go back home, time hits me with changes like the lines on your cheeks reminding me of the smiles I ain't seen. Ain't it crazy how I remember you at my age now, and I'm still trying to figure this thing out. But you trusted me to trust my God. I don't know if I trust me as much. It's hard to come to terms with losing touch. But I made a choice when I was young, just trying to become someone. I'm not ready for this kind of growing up, this kind of growing up. Oh, this kind of growing up. You still look at me the same, conversations like nothing's changed, but then I drive away. And I won't be back here for months. It's harder every time I come. It's still never long enough. But you trusted me to trust my God. I don't know if I trust me as much. It's hard to come to terms with losing touch. But I made a choice when I was young, just trying to become someone. I'm not ready for this kind of growing up, this kind of growing up. Oh, this kind of growing up.
Thank you. Great job. That is great. Love the lyrics in that. And, very vulnerable. And it's about, moving and, pursuing your dreams and stuff like that. Did you share this song with your parents first before anybody else?
Yeah, I always send my songs to my best friend, Jess, who is from PEI and actually moved to Toronto to be an actress. So she has the exact same kind of storyline as me. And I sent it to my parents, and of course, they loved it. The best reaction was definitely my friend. She bawled her eyes out. And this is her favorite song off of this album. And she's actually in the music video because this song is like so personal to her, too.
But you also talked about, coming to Toronto and working, because Toronto rent is not cheap. And you didn't come here already with a big record label and, a lot of money in the bank. You worked for it, you hustled. And I'm curious to know, what kind of work did you do?
Well, I moved to Toronto when I was 19. I had literally one suitcase and a guitar, was just super fearless. I was a thousandaire, so I think I had like $1,000 from being a server, and I was in this like dinner theater show in PEI. First day or second day I got here, I went to Jack Astor's at Yonge and Dundas Square, and I applied and I got the job. So I worked there for like 2 days and I got fired because I ended up winning this Much Music TV show where I went and met Taylor Swift. and they fired me because I didn't show up because I went to Chicago to meet Taylor Swift instead. I worked at a lot of places. I mostly serving. Duke of Devon, Grace O'Malley's, where I met my husband. That was a pub in Toronto. I did lots of like promotional modeling, like working for like Budweiser at like a golf course, which was terrible because it was like
Nothing against Budweiser. Budweiser's great.
no,
It's
not
the
Bud.
elements.
Love Bud. It was just like the elements. And then mostly just service industry. I was a manager at Earl's in Burlington for a few years. I worked at that Earl's for like 6 years. So my music video for growing up is very much that. I'm working at a bar, questioning your whole life and all of your decisions of why the heck you moved here for music when you're just, working all the time and you can't afford to take time off work. And the music industry at that point wasn't making any money for me. And then you're also doing gigs where sometimes you're not getting the best gigs and you're not playing in front of a ton of people. It's definitely tough to do it in the industry, but it after 10 years of doing it, it finally is paying off.
And for my listeners that don't know, like you weren't, adamant about this being your dream job since you're, 4 years old singing your heart out. Like this was something that you came to a little bit later on. So I believe it was in high school, right? When you really started to pick up your voice and explore that.
I ended up loving Taylor Swift. So, when I was 16, seeing her on CMT for the first time, loved her songwriting, really fell in love with songwriting. Then I started writing songs, but, never really sang in public ever. No one's ever heard me sing before. And then I just randomly auditioned for my high school musical and I ended up getting the lead female role, which is crazy. It's pretty unreal that one decision of that director for that high school musical like changed my whole life because I fell in love with it. And then I went to university as a vocal major, and then I was in a dinner theater show where I got to like sing and act and play instruments. And then I was like, I need to do this forever. And then I moved to Toronto, and honestly, I was so naive. I thought that within 6 months, Dean Brody's gonna be calling me up, go on tour, even though I never had a single song.
Yeah.
And little did I know that it was gonna take, 12 years for me to finally do it full time.
Speaking about songwriting, what I think is, kind of interesting, besides your unique voice, is your style. I notice a lot of your songs are about, what you've experienced and gone through, like mental health wise and moving. And the focus is really on you and your story, and not so much on like love and heartbreak, which I find kind of interesting because you're a big Taylor Swift fan.
I know, but I don't have that in my life. I have love. I definitely don't have like the aspect of heartbreak and going through all that. So I really do just write about my life. And that is like missing my parents, moving away from home, wondering, did I make the right decisions, growing older and seeing your family grow older. My song Good Old Days is like, maybe we're living in our prime and our good old days right now, and we should really pay attention and live in the moment because a lot of things go by real quick. And it's actually really hard to write because it's easy to write a breakup song, it's easy to write a fun drinking song, but it's hard to write a really good life song.
Before I let you go, there's two things I want to comment on here. One being you made to the second ballot for your music video for Red Wine or Whiskey. That's pretty cool, especially since you say you have a big hand in it all. So
yeah,
to be recognized for that's pretty exciting.
I'm very happy about that. And Red Wine or Whiskey has been my most successful song to date. And I had, as an artist, you don't really know which songs are going to do well. And that one seems to, everyone loves it on all aspects. So I'm very grateful for that. And that song has definitely given me lots of opportunities. So, and this music video, it's very simple, but I have a great team on the music video side where I wanted this whole album to be very cinematic, dark, and moody, and that's simple, but I feel like it gets the point across and it's really moody.
And before I let you go, we have to talk about Boots and Hearts.
I'm so pumped.
Boots and Hearts. This is going to be your first time performing there, right?
Yes, actually, years ago, I sang backups for an artist named Jessie LaBelle at Boots and Hearts, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to be back here as an actual artist. So I'm just so pumped, and I honestly didn't think I was gonna be performing there this year, but it was on my bucket list and it was on my dream board, and I was like, oh, this stuff gets booked so much in advance. I think it's passed for this year, and And then I got an email from Boots and Hearts.
Well, I'm excited for that. And maybe I'll get the chance to chat with you there in person.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I can't wait. It's going to be so fun.
Fun weekend.